Hi everybody. I'm just going live here for yoga this morning at 9:30. A little bit early, so I thought I'd say hello and wait for people to arrive. Hi. My cat is being so silly today, so we'll see how that goes. Come here. Yeah. So welcome everyone. I'm going to get started in a few minutes here. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody for participating, for coming to classes online, which has been a new experience for I think a lot of us. And I also wanted to thank everybody for all your generosity, all your beautiful words, and and I know some of you got some yoga blocks that I delivered yesterday, so I hope you get to use those and can use them in the practice even this morning. So I'm just gonna get started here in a minute. What time is it? I should get a little clock. So we just have a minute or two. If anyone has any requests for poses or anything they'd like to do in practice today, you could always leave a comment and I will try my best to get to that. And if you have any requests for practice for Thursday morning, I'd love to hear from you. Today's practice is going to I'm going to give a few different options. It's going to be a little bit more active, but please, if you need to, just do whatever it is you can do. Okay? So my cat's being a bit of a brat, so hopefully he doesn't just disrupt things too much for me today and for you. All right, so I think it is 9:30, so we'll get started. Hi, buddy. I know. Just full of love this morning. Hey? You're just full of mischief as well. All right. So welcome to Tuesday morning. And if you haven't met me before, my name is Shannon. My cat tends to pop in and out of this yoga practice, so bear with me if he's being a little bit of a brat. Hi, welcome Lisa. And I was just saying that if anyone has any requests for practice today, if you can just pop a comment into the comment box, it'll pop up on my screen. It is a little far away, but I'll try to take a look at it as we're going along. And if you have any requests for Thursday's practice, just send me a message or shoot me a comment later on. And and so we're gonna get started. Let's start in a comfortable seat, whatever that is like for you. We are going to start with some breathing this morning from our seat. So we're going to explore some alternate nostril breathing. If you've never done that before and you're trying it and it's not working or it's creating anxiety, please let it go and just connect with your breath as you would, okay? So if you've never done an alternate nostril breathing, let's see if I can talk this morning. You take your right hand, and there's two ways to do this. You're going to use your ring finger, which is the one beside your pinky, and your thumb. So the first two fingers can either curl down towards the center of your, actually I'll come a bit closer so you can see this part. So my hands are really small, so I curl them in, and then I use my thumb and my ring finger to close one side and close the other. If you're congested, you probably don't want to do this. You're just going to want to breathe normally, probably in and out through your mouth. If you have longer fingers and you can place those two fingers on your forehead, some people do it this way, alternating. I find that feels like my hands smothering my face, but everybody has their own preference. Okay, so we're going to start with some alternate nostril breathing. And let's start with a couple clearing breaths here first. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and then exhale through your mouth. And another deep breath in through your nose. and then out through your mouth. And then take your right hand and you're going to either curl in those first two fingers or place them on your forehead. And let's start with a full deep breath in. And then exhale through your nose. And then close your right nostril with your thumb and take a breath in through your left nostril. Close off your left nostril, open your right and exhale. And then inhale through your right. Close off your right, exhale through your left. So that was one round. We're going to take a few more. Take a breath in here. Close off your left, exhale right. Inhale through your right. Close off, exhale left. Inhale through your left. Close off, exhale right. Inhale through your right. Close off, exhale left. So that was 3 rounds. We'll take 2 more. Deep inhale through your left. Remember, if you're congested, you can just let this go and breathe normally. Exhale through your right. Inhale through your right. Close off, exhale left. Inhale left. Close off, exhale right. Inhale right. Close off, exhale left. And then just release your hands to your lap or wherever it's comfortable. Take a couple deep breaths here. If your eyes are still opened, you can cast your gaze down, soften your gaze, or close your eyes. And we'll just spend about a minute or so here connecting to your inhale and exhale. Staying with your breath, you could bring both palms together at your heart or both hands over your heart. Take a couple deep breaths into your heart space. Take a couple deep breaths of gratitude for this moment. And maybe take a moment to set an intention. I talked about this the last time I was on my mat here, but maybe you'd like to draw some energy towards you, some kind of energy that you'd like to feel. Maybe there's something that you would like to let go of, so you could set an intention around that. Just as you're ready, releasing your hands back down to your sides or onto your lap, excuse me, and opening up your eyes if they're still closed. So if you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, we're going to practice one more breathing technique before we start to move. Some of you will already know this practice. It's a little bit of a constriction through your throat, just a constriction of your airway, so your breath kind of sounds like it's sighing, or it's a little bit, excuse me, there's a little audible sound. So it doesn't have to be super loud, but it sounds something like this. You can see if that works for you. It may or may not, and so you can just take some full breaths in and out as we move through this practice this morning. So we're going to start in child's pose, and like I mentioned before, we are going to move a little bit this morning, get some fire, get some heat going. So if at any point you need to cool down or to slow down, child's pose is a great opportunity for that, or you could find any other resting like pose or position. You could be seated, you could be lying down, just to take a moment to pause and rest. So coming to child's pose as you're ready, and of course if child's pose doesn't work for me, you can stay on your seat. And take a couple deep breaths here up into your heart space again, up into your shoulder blades. And as you exhale, let some weight or heaviness from the front of your body or front of your heart to settle towards the floor, or you can release and let go altogether. And just know that you can come back to child's pose if it feels like a place of pause, a place of rest for you at any time. So as you're ready, begin to rise and come up to a tabletop and start to maybe warm up your spine with some cat and cow, arching and rounding. You could make some big circles. You could move your hips towards your heels and come back. Anything that feels like it's creating a bit of space for you. We will be coming either back to child's pose or into downward facing dog after. So if you feel like coming to down dog or moving a bit more already, make your way up to downward facing dog and start to maybe walk it out or create a little bit of movement here. And wherever it is that you are, just taking maybe a few more breaths here. Okay. Now, if you made your way into downward dog and you'd like to come back to child's pose, you can. We will be making our way back to tabletop here for a moment. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. We're going to create a little bit of movement, so you could extend one leg back. Your exhale is knee to chest, forehead to knee, and round your spine, and your inhale would be an extension back through your leg. You could also add in your opposite arm, which will create a little bit more stability and balance work. And if that's not there for you, both hands down. And working just with your breath here at your own pace, so it could be slower or quicker than mine. Inhale to extend and exhale to draw in. And one more time. And just as you're ready, bringing both your hands, both your knees back to the floor. Take a moment to pause, or you could move through cat and cow here. And as you're ready, come coming to the other side. Again, working with just your leg, your knee drawing in, try to round through your spine, and inhale to extend, or working with your opposite arm as well. Hugging in, inhale to extend. Moving with your own breath. And one more time. And when you're ready, hands, knees come back down. You can move to child's pose if you like. We can come back to downward facing dog if you like, and connect to your breath here. So for those of you that came into child's pose, make your way into downward dog, and if that's not accessible for you, you could come into a standing forward fold here. If you come into downward dog, you could bend one knee and send your opposite heel towards the floor, create a little bit of movement. You could also come forward into plank and come back to downward dog. And we will be making our way into a standing forward fold. So just in your own time, making your way either with your feet towards the front or your hands towards the back of your mat. Fold in. Give yourself a couple clearing breaths here if you need, in through your nose, and then clear it out through your mouth. So we're going to create a bit of movement here, or you could stay folded in. If you're going to move, hands to your shins and take an inhale to lengthen your heart forward, lift up about halfway, and then exhale to fold back in. We're going to do that a couple more times with your own breath, using your breath as a pace to find your own rhythm. And wherever it is you are, taking one more. And then we're going to come to mountain pose, either by ragdolling up, taking a few breaths, or one breath to rise. Come all the way up to stand. And take a moment here. Feel both feet rooted on the floor. Take a moment to come back to your intention here. Excuse me. Good. If you're at the back of your mat, come to walk all the way towards the front of your mat and take your shoulders back and down. Take an inhale to reach your arms up overhead, and then exhale, we're going to fold forward again. We're going to do this a couple times, a little half sun salutation. Hands to your shins, inhale to lift up halfway, and then exhale, fold yourself back in. And then inhale, we're going to rise up, reach our arms up at the top, and then exhale, hands to heart center. And remembering you can skip any of this if it's not working for you anytime. Inhale, and then exhale here. And then find an inhale. Maybe find a little length through your spine, shoulders back, and then exhale, fold yourself back in. And then inhale, let's rise up to stand again. And exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to add in a little bit more movement here. Inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. Now find your halfway lift again here. Find a little length. Bring your fingertips down or hands to block. Step your left foot back towards the back edge of your mat. You could have your back knee, let's actually start with our back knee on the floor, and then reach your arms up overhead, or you could place your hands on your hips. So if you're having some shoulder stuff going on, hands to your hips, maybe a better option. Good. Taking a couple more breaths here, settling into your breath. Now when your next exhale comes, Place your hands down on either side of your front foot. Lift your back knee. We're either going to step back to downward dog. You can come back to child's pose if you prefer. Just checking in. And then we're going to inhale and come forward to plank pose. So you can start with your knees lifted. You can place your knees down to the ground. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, bend your elbows and lower all the way down to the floor. And start off with a low cobra. Hands underneath your shoulders. Lift your shoulders away from the floor. Maybe lift your chest. And then as you're ready, you can press back through to tabletop, maybe back to child's pose for a couple breaths, or coming back to downward facing dog. Take a clearing breath if you need. Then we're going to lift our left leg up here, or you're going to step your left foot forward from tabletop. If it doesn't reach all the way forward, you can grab your ankle, give it a little help forward as well. Front knees over your ankle, and rise and come up to a low lunge. You can stay here or reach your arms up overhead, connecting to your breath. And as your next exhale comes, placing your hands back down. This time, we're going to step forward. So you can lift your back knee, push off your back foot, and then fold in here. Let's take a moment in a forward fold, grabbing opposite elbows, taking a clearing breath. Let your head release a bit more. You can either ragdoll up to stand, or take one breath to rise, your choice. Good. And as you're ready, inhale. Reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, come back down into a forward fold. Find some length through your spine here. Inhale. Now exhale, let's step our right foot back. Now you can choose a high lunge with your back knee lifted here, or you can bring your back knee to the ground. We're going to keep our right hand down, or if you have a yoga block, you can place your right hand on the block. And we're going to turn towards the left here. Turn towards your front leg. Shoulders back. You can extend your arm up towards the ceiling, or you can keep your hand on your hip here. Let's connect in for a few more breaths. Front knees over your ankle still. When your next exhale comes, place your hands down. We're going to step back to downward facing dog or child's pose. You can always skip this next part here as well. Coming forward to plank pose as you inhale. Knees up or knees down. Exhale to lower all the way down. Now we're going to rise up again to cobra. Low cobra. If you can keep your elbows bent, shoulders away from your ears, you can lift up a little higher. And when you're ready, you can push back to child's pose for a couple breaths here, or you can move to downward facing dog. Give yourself a clearing breath into your nose, and then out through your mouth. Good. Okay, from tabletop or from downward dog, step your right foot forward. Maybe give it a little help forward. Back knees lifted or on the floor. Taking that twist here, you can have your left hand on a block if you like. Turn towards your front leg, hand on your hip here, or extending your arm up, connecting to your breath. Just a few more breaths here. And when your next exhale comes, place your hands down. We're going to step forward And take a forward fold here. Let's grab opposite elbows. Let's take a couple clearing breaths. Good, you can either ragdoll the stand or rise. Take one breath to come all the way up. And hands down by your sides. Take a moment to pause in mountain. All right, let's take another breath in. Let's reach up. And then exhale, let's fold forward. We're gonna lift up halfway again. And then this time, stepping your left foot back. Now, low lunge or high lunge, okay? Front knees over your ankle. You can bring your hands up to your front leg. If you're in a high lunge and you start to fall out, bring your back knee towards the floor on the floor. So you can stay here. You can reach your arms up. If you'd like, you can come into goddess arms here, a little bit more of a heart opener. So I'm just showing you from the side. You don't need to turn here. Or hands on your hips, elbows in. Let's connect to a few more breaths. And on your next exhale, let's bring our hands down. Let's straighten out our legs. Now, if you have yoga blocks, not all of you do, you could bring the floor a little closer. The blocks have 3 heights. Place your hands on the block. Let's straighten out both legs. Lift your back heel high. Try to square your hips forward, like getting a little bit more length through the back of your front leg here. And as you're ready, hands come down. Now, if you're going to come back to downward dog, I'm going to open up into 3-legged dog. So lifting my right leg up behind me, anchoring my left heel down, creating a little length now through the back of my left leg. If you'd like to open your hip, bend your top knee, you can do that as well here. And we'll come back to down dog. Your choice to move through vinyasa, which is coming forward to plank, lowering down to the floor, taking a breath in for cobra, and coming back to child's pose or back to downward dog. Just a couple more breaths here. And then either from downward dog or from tabletop, step your left foot forward. Give it some help if you need. High lunge or low lunge. Okay, lifting up. You can have your hands on your hips, elbows in. You can come to goddess or cactus arms, connecting into your breath here. Last couple breaths. And as you exhale, place your hands down. You don't need blocks, but you could use your yoga blocks here. Try to straighten out both legs. Lift your back heel high, square your hips, and maybe fold in here. And then as you're ready, we're going to place our hands down. We're going to step back to 3-legged dog, or you can come to downward dog, squaring your hips here, anchoring your other heel down. You could also open your hip, bend your top knee. A couple more breaths here. And as you come back down, choose child's pose, or you can move through vinyasa, or you can stay in downward dog, your choice. For those of you that practice up dog, you can add that into your vinyasa as well. Couple more breaths. Now when you're ready, stepping your right foot forward. That could be from tabletop or from down dog. Let's come up to warrior two. Back heel comes down to the ground. Come to stand upright. So your back foot is pointing towards the side. Your front foot is pointing forward, and then bend into your front knee. Now if your front knee goes way forward of your ankle, give yourself a longer stride here. Connecting to your breath, maybe extending your arms out. Now, there's a bit of a hugging in of your upper legs, upper legs hugging in, and then there's a lengthening from the center of your body, the core of your body, up towards your chest, up through the top of your head here. And then soften into your shoulder blades. Now when you're ready, begin to straighten out your front leg. Take a big breath in here to lengthen. We're going to move to Trikonasana triangle pose. Front hand comes either to your shin or to a block. Your back hand can be on your hip. You can extend it up towards the ceiling here. Take a couple more breaths. Try not to pinch, and then you're trying to find length through both of your sides. I can't see, but that's okay. And as you're ready, we're going to rise, come back up to stand, and let's turn both feet now to the long edge of our mats. Take a deep breath in here. And then exhale, wide-legged forward fold, begin to fold in. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Now, if you have blocks, you can have your hands on blocks if you need to. If not, allowing your upper body to fold. Now, you want to still have the feeling in your legs that you're being supported. So if you feel like you're going to slip and do the splits, bring your legs in a little bit closer, or your feet in a bit closer perhaps. Or you may want to explore even a wider stride if that's available for you, as long as you don't feel like you're going to slip into the splits. Couple more breaths here. Try to relax the weight of your head. Now, as you're ready, lift up about halfway. You can bring your hands to your hips, your hands to your upper legs, and rise to come all the way back up. Let's turn our right foot back forward. Bend back into your right knee. Now, a couple options here. Front elbow can rest lightly on your front leg, so you're not dropping into it, you're lifting away. You could use a block to support your hand here and try to get your chest open. You can reach up through your back hand or extend forward or hand on your hip, depending on how your shoulder feels here. Side angle posture. Really anchoring into your back foot and feeling this line of energy out through your top fingertips. Breathe into your side here. And as you're ready, let's rise. Come all the way back up. Keep both legs straight. This time, back hand to your back leg. Front palm reaches up and back. Good. As you're ready, we're going to windmill our hands down, either side of our front foot. Lift your back heel. Let's step back to down dog. You can choose to come into child's pose. You can hang out in down dog. Some of you might want to move through a vinyasa here. Slowing your breath down. And come back into your body. Just noticing your body. Maybe start with noticing your breath. Notice if your chest feels tight or your breath feels labored. You might want to pause and slow down a little. And when you're ready, if you're in child's pose, make your way back to downward dog. This time we're going to lift our left leg up, step our left foot forward. And we're going to come up to warrior two. So come and rise back up to stand. Bend into your left knee. Back leg is straight, arms can extend out here. Lengthening through your spine. Relax your shoulder blades. Maybe it's okay to gaze forward. And again, remembering if your front knee pops way forward of your ankle, take a longer stride. You'll know because you'll be able to see perhaps your big toe here. Just a few more breaths. And when you're ready, straightening out your front leg, take a breath in here to lengthen through your spine, reaching forward for triangle. Your front hand can come to a block or your shin. Your back hand can stay on your hip. You can extend your hand towards the ceiling. Try to relax your shoulders away from your ears and come back to your breath. And as you're ready, rise. Let's come all the way back up. Both feet turn towards the long edge of your mat. Now, you probably can't see my feet today, but try to bring your feet parallel so you're not pigeon-toeing out, that your feet are straight, so the edges and sides of your feet are straight to the sides of your mat. Perhaps you can fold in with your hands coming towards the floor again, or you could interlace your hands behind you. Take a breath in here. So maybe straighten out your arms. Crack. And as you fold, you could lift your hands away from your lower back, maybe up towards the ceiling here. Now, if this creates more tension or tightness in your shoulders or upper back, then bring your hands back towards the floor here. And then let the top of your head release. Your hands are still clasped behind your back. Bring your hands back down to the floor for the last couple breaths here. And when you're ready, start to lift up about halfway. Bend your knees, rise to lift yourself all the way back upright. Turn your left foot back towards the front of your mat. Side angle pose here. So you could use a block if you want. You can have your elbow resting lightly on your front leg. Try to move your shoulder away from your ear. A line from your back leg, maybe up through your fingertips here, and connecting to your breath. Last couple breaths here. When you're ready, you're going to rise, come all the way up, straighten out both legs, back hand on your back leg. Now turn your palm to face the ceiling maybe. Maybe reach your arm up, maybe extending back a bit here. And as you're ready, we're going to windmill our hands down. either side of your front foot. Lift your back heel, move back to downward dog. You could move through vinyasa here. You could come to child's pose. Wherever it is that you are, taking a couple more breaths here. Okay, so if you want to take a moment on your seat, I'm just going to show you a transition we're going to move through. We're going to move into a standing balance. So before you get there, I just want to give you a little bit of an idea of what that'll look like. So this will be one of our last standing poses. So we're going to start in warrior one here. We won't go this fast. And then we're going to try to move into warrior three, which is standing on one leg, your other leg's lifting up behind you. And then we'll try to tip up and come back to stand. Sounds easy, right? Woohoo! All right, taking a clearing breath or two. Now start with your right foot forward, maybe stepping your left foot back just till you feel your heel anchor. And it doesn't have to be a long stride. You want to maybe have a shorter stride so it's easier to move into the balance. Take your hands to heart center for a moment. You could take a moment to connect into the core, the center of your body. Maybe draw your navel towards your spine. Now, you're going to begin to lift your back heel, lean forward into your front leg a little bit. Push down into your standing leg to lift your back leg up. If you don't get it right away, it's okay. If you're falling out of balance, it's okay. Now, you want to try to keep your body, your upper body, and your leg in the same line. So you don't want to drop your lower body here if you can help it. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring your back leg forward, knee towards your chest, and come back to mountain. See, I told you it was easy. Right. Okay. It's very challenging, so I'm just being a joker. I shouldn't be joking too much because it's really not easy. So now I'm going to step my right foot back. You can join me if you like. And coming to bring my hands to heart center. You can keep your hands on your hips here as well. Now again, engaging through your core. Begin to lift your back heel, leaning forward slightly, maybe lifting your back leg up. This is warrior three. Connecting to your breath. And just when you feel ready, you're going to start to tip up. Maybe bring your right knee up towards your chest. And bring your foot back down. You can shake it out a bit if you want. You can have a clearing breath here if you want. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And let's take a half sun salutation. Take a breath in. And then exhale, forward fold. And then lifting up halfway. And exhale, fold. And let's take a couple breaths to ragdoll the stand again. All right, so we're going to come into squat pose next. And for some of you that might be more of a half squat. Some of you may, if you have a yoga block, you can come down into a squat sitting on the block, or you can come all the way down. Now, I'm also going to offer up crow pose for those of you that have been practicing yoga for a while or practiced with me before or know crow pose. It is an arm balance. I'm not going to suggest you try this out if this is your first time trying it, because you do not want to do a face plant. Landing on your nose doesn't feel so great on a hardwood floor. But for those of you that know what it looks like, this and here. Okay, so maybe moving into crow. So if you're going to move into crow, you're going to want to move back maybe towards the middle of your mat here. For those of you not, you can stay where you're at. Bring your feet a little bit wider to the sides, toes turned out. You're gonna come to sit down into squat pose and adjust your feet as you need to. Now we're gonna spend, I don't know, just spend as many breaths as you can or you want to here. And at any point you could come back down onto your seat. For those of you coming into crow pose today, you could start to move there as you like, connecting to your breath. Maybe that'll be like a whole workshop, crow pose workshop. So just whenever you're done, whether it's in crow or you're finished being in squat pose, we're gonna make our way down onto our seats. A nice release here. I like after that is a little windshield wipering, releasing through my hips, but there might be something else that you'd like to do to release that out. Good. How's everybody feeling? I feel like I got a little bit of heat going. I feel energized so far. I got a little bit of a sweat and my breathing was a little bit labored. Clearly I need to be doing a little bit more these days, or not. I've actually really been enjoying the rest that I've gotten the last week, so I'm in a lot of gratitude for that. So we're just gonna do a little bit of a back of our leg opener here again, and then we're gonna come onto our backs, okay? So when you're ready, extending out through one leg. So you can, I have my left leg extended, but you can choose otherwise. Fingertips behind you to lengthen. You could turn towards your left leg. Or you can reach your arms up and fold over your extended leg, maybe holding your shin or your ankle, or you could always grab wherever. And you're a little bit of a more of a twist if you're turned, if your leg is extended more to the side. So if you want less of a twist, just bring your leg a little bit more down towards the center, okay? Coming back to your breath, coming back to your intention. Maybe breathe in some of the energy that you want to bring towards you, and then release and let go of anything you don't need anymore. So this next pose is optional. You'll start to lift yourself upright. If your left leg is extended, you'll bring your right hand behind you, push down, lift your hips up. Reach your opposite arm up towards the ceiling and give the front of your hips a little bit of a stretch out, and coming all the way back down. Let's switch sides. So one side can feel different than the other. When you're ready, lengthening here, turning towards your extended leg. This might be your posture today, or you may decide to lengthen here and fold in a bit more. Connecting to your breath. Use your breath to clear out anything you don't need, any heaviness, anything that's clogging up your mind. Use your inhale to draw in something that feels a bit lighter. And as you're ready, lifting back up. So my right leg's extended. I'm going to bring my left hand behind me, lift my hips up and push down to extend back, or any other variation on this, or just skipping this altogether. And when you're ready, coming back down and shake it out a little bit. And now we're going to recline onto our back. So just clearing any props or anything you have on your mat, cats, dogs. See, my cat's up on his pedestal today. He's here, he just hasn't made his appearance on camera. He's a little bit tired from being so frisky this morning, so we're gonna come into figure 4 pose here, hip opener. Start with maybe your left foot on top of your right leg, And you could move your left leg forward here if that feels okay, as long as that doesn't put pressure on your knee. Now, if your hips are really tight, you could stay here. This might be enough for you. Some of you may even just lift your foot enough to bring maybe your block underneath so your foot can rest on the block. And if you can bring your hands behind your right knee, you can do that as well. Coming back to your breath. Couple more breaths here. And just taking your time as you're ready to release both of your feet back down to your mat. Maybe finding a bit of a release in between here before coming to the other side. So depending on what side you did there, you might bring your right foot now on top of your left leg. You can move your right leg slightly forward, and you can stay here. You can bring your foot up onto a block. You can take your hands behind your knee. Coming back to your breath, try to relax the back of your body towards the floor. So try to use your hands as a grip, but relax your shoulders and your jaw and everything else that might start to clench up here. Whenever you're ready, we're going to release from that side. You can windshield wiper your legs and knees. You can extend your feet forward. Give it a little bit of a shake out here. Maybe give yourself a full body stretch. I'm going to bring my knees both up into my chest and rock a little bit here, but you can find something else if you need to. I'll make some big circles. Now I'm going to come into happy baby pose. This isn't always comfortable for everyone, so you can totally skip this if you want. Your knees will come wide. You can grab behind your knees and lift your feet up. You could grab a hold of your ankles and extend your feet up, or you can grab the outside of your feet. Try to relax your shoulders back down towards the floor if possible here. Take a couple deep breaths into your belly. Feet towards one another, release your hands, and again, give yourself a little bit of a release here. Now, excuse me, if you have a yoga block or a rolled up blanket or anything of support, you can use that for this next posture. You don't need to, but I'm going to lift my hips enough to bring the block just underneath my sacrum. And it could be a lower block, a more cushy block. It doesn't have to be a hard foam block. I'm going to extend both of my legs up towards the ceiling here. You could also take your arms up. Just plug your shoulders back down. Just let your arms and hands rest. I'm going to circle my ankles out a couple times, and then I'm just going to rest here for a moment. Now, you could also do this without a block. It just requires you to hold your legs up with a little bit more energy. So you could use a denser pillow or a bolster or anything else, a rolled up blanket, like I said, to do this. Your arms can also just rest beside you, or you can do a bit more of a heart opener here if you like, with your arms overhead. Now, you could stay here with your legs extended, or you could keep the prop underneath you or the cushion underneath you and extend your feet to the floor, and then extend your legs forward so the backs of your heels are on the floor. If this creates a pinching into your lower back, just skip it, come on out. So you don't ever want to create like these sharp shooting pains in any of our postures. If that starts to do that for you, come on out, or take the prop from underneath you out. If you're still here though, take a couple breaths into your lower belly. Now, whether your legs are extended or you've come out already or not, place the block to the side. Maybe bring both knees up into your chest again here. So I'm going to come into a recline twist. You can bring both knees up and over towards one side to do that. Today I'm going to extend my bottom leg onto the floor and take my top knee across. For some of you, this may be way too much of a twist, or if your leg is floating in the air, just bring your bottom knee together to join together with your top knee here. Slowing your breath down. Relaxing through your shoulders. Take 2 more breaths. And just as you're ready, coming back through the center and coming to the other side whenever you're ready here. Last couple breaths. Just as you're ready, coming all the way back to the center. And one more time, you might want to find a bit of a release here, whether it's knees to chest or extending your legs forward and shaking it out a little bit here. We're going to come into Shavasana now. So you will cool off quickly. If you have a blanket or a sweater or something to keep yourself warm, please take a moment to get your blanket or your sweater on. We're going to come to lie down for about 5 minutes, and I don't think I stressed the importance of Shavasana quite enough in these online classes, but you know, with nowhere to be and nowhere to go lately, there's no reason to not come into Shavasana. It can be quite challenging to quiet your mind, but it is a practice. And this is just an opportunity for you to not be doing anything and just being here and allowing your energy to settle and be grounded and just really come into your body. So give this gift, I call it a gift, to yourself. So take a moment here to get comfortable. And if lying on your back doesn't create comfort, I often guide people to lie on their side. Sometimes people come onto the front of their body with a knee up to one side, or you could come up to your seat. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. So make sure it feels comfortable so that you can rest as best as you can. Give yourself a clearing breath here. Maybe another one. And closing your eyes if that's okay, or you can have an eye cover on. Just allow yourself the gift of this time to just be. Slowly begin to deepen your breath, bringing yourself back, bring yourself back into your body, bring your awareness back into the room. Maybe make some gentle movements. You could give yourself a full body stretch here, stretching from your fingers to your toes. You might want to bring your knees back up into your chest before rolling onto one side. Just take a few breaths here on your side. And as you're ready, just making your way back up to your seat. And you can, again, as you come up to your seat, maybe close your eyes, or you can take your hands over your heart, or one hand over your belly, one hand over your heart. If your eyes are open, just softening your gaze down for a moment. And just check in with your body, maybe through your shoulders, or your heart, or your hips. Or maybe there's just a feeling, a little bit more feeling of ease. And take a moment to reflect back on your intention here as well. See if you can carry that little seed of intention, that energy you'd like to bring towards you. See if you can hold on to that as you move through the remainder of your day. So much gratitude for all of you. So thank you so much for being here again. I appreciate all of you. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks everyone. I'll be back on Thursday morning again. If you have any requests for me, any poses or anything you'd like to practice, please let me know. You can send me a message. You can let me know on Thursday. And the plan for me too is to also be here on Friday night so far. Just trying out different times. So if you have preferred times, I know everybody has different times, but if there's times of the day, days of the week that work best, please let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback. I've been trying different times every week just to see what lands for people, trying a variety of practices and just trying to mix it up a bit. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you. So enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.